Hey, what is up, all? It is Sunday evening, and I am back to discuss the early Monday morning League of Legends slate. I did not have time to cover the slate this morning with all the soccer going on, but I'm going to try to cover League of Legends as much as possible, especially during the week when there isn't any soccer going on. So, another 2 game slate, LPL. Just a brief look at the odds on Bovada here. OMG, a favorite over V5. And then LGD, a slight favorite over E-Star. Because these lines aren't setting these teams as huge favorites, I'm not certain what's going to be chalky here. I mean, on the surface, it looks like OMG and LGD could be, but E-Star may see some pretty high ownership just because they are the highest scoring team on the slate in wins. So I put together basically the same data that I put together for the last slate that I think a lot of people found helpful. And this time I also weighted the projections by the opponent's defensive strength to make it a little bit more accurate, hopefully. And all of this data is primarily from the spring split, since we just started the summer split. The one thing I will mention is that a couple of these teams, particularly E-Star and OMG, had a few roster changes, so it's not perfect data, but I tried to piece it together as best I could. So just to quickly recap again, basically what I did was I projected fantasy points for each team based on the result of their match. So yeah, as you can see, E-Star is going to be, or has the highest projection in every outcome across the board. And the most important thing I think to note is that in like my projection for them in a loss, a 1-2 loss, would still beat out a 2-1 win for OMG. I mean, it's slight, but what that means is that a game stack is definitely in play here, particularly if we get the chalk outcome, which to me would be OMG winning 2-1 and LGD winning 2-1. In that particular case, the LGD, the one I have highlighted here, the LGD Easy Star stack could very well be a top performing lineup. So I think the game stack is very much in play, especially when you think about the fact that if you're going to try to stack LGD and OMG, I haven't looked at the salary, but you're probably going to need to captain a jungler to do that, which is not always ideal. But that lineup, whatever you can squeeze in there with the salaries, are going to be super chalk, I think. So I'm definitely willing to come off of that and take a shot on a game stack. And also, when I say game stack, it could very well be like a 3-3 with ES and LGD, and then you could throw in, like one OMG player. So just to mix it up a little bit, especially in some of the larger field tournaments. So that was the main thing that I wanted to bring up on this slate. What else? So, and just in case you didn't watch the last video, when you create a projection for every outcome of every team, then you can go through and get the exact result for each match, and then look at what projects as the optimal stack in that situation. And then this column here is showing how many combos that would cover. So, like for example here, as long as Easy Star wins, it doesn't matter whether OMG sweeps or not. Easy Star or E Star is probably going to be the team that you want to more heavily stack in that situation. Again, I haven't looked at salary. That probably doesn't even fit, but just using that as an example. So then after I went through all these combinations, what I did was total up, how many times a certain stack came up. So I put high equity here. And what I mean by that is if you're stacking either E-Star as the main stack and then bringing it back with OMG or V5, that's essentially going to, or at least it projects to, be the optimal build, regardless of the outcome of each match, whether it's 2-0 or 2-1 on either side. That's the build that projects to be optimal. So in that sense, it's high equity because it's covering multiple situations with one build. And just remember that these are projections, and it's kind of telling us what's optimal. But if you're gonna play in like the main GPP, just because this is the optimal build doesn't mean that it's gonna end up being the best lineup, because some crazy things happen in these 2-game slates. So I think this is probably best geared towards utilizing for whether it's cash or some of the smaller field tournaments that are single entry or 3 entry. I think that pretty much covers everything. I just wanted to get the video up because the slate is fast approaching. So hope you found it helpful. Please do subscribe if you're enjoying the content for either soccer or League of Legends. And if you do have any questions, just drop a comment below, and good luck out there tonight or tomorrow morning.